Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna go post the links over everywhere where I post them. So first thing, I'm getting really close up here. Sorry, it's a little too much face. Um, HTTPS colon slash slash Denver Guitar Orchestra.com. Tweet, and then we're gonna go to copy, and then we're going to go to here, Control V, Shift, highlight, normal font, link, enter, edit settings, open in a new window, update. That should get everybody in here. Let's see. And I was login. I know I'm the one who logged in. All right, so we have a new system here. I have moved everything around, cleaned the place up. I will be playing standing up today because my back hurts, and maybe forever. We'll see how this goes. I've got everything reset. Looks like, okay, you're not supposed to know. There's a microphone right there. There's another microphone right there. Camera right there. Light back over there. Light from outside right there. And we're ready to rock. I am going to the web page to see if this is actually working now. View page, scroll down, hit link, and there I am playing guitar music, playing guitar music today. We are playing Wednesday. What is today? Thursday. And all right, so that should be it. So as far as I know, we're all set up. We usually have a little bit of a handful of people wander in at this point. What is today? It's 9:00 on Thursday, right? 9:00. So this is guitar time. All right, where is everybody? They're not coming around. Maybe they're having YouTube problems. I think yesterday we decided we would start with Silent Night, or maybe the other way. I think that's what we decided. Hey, Vic. Yeah, let me know. I changed everything. So I'm now standing up officially, and I am moved the microphones around. They're up high now instead of down low. And what else is going on? We'll see how I do standing up. It's not just necessarily not really how I'm set up around here, but I think I have everything set where it should work. I'm hopeful. Okay, and I'll have to stand back here, which puts my sheet music really far away. So I'll have to use good eyesight. Let's see what else is going on today. I don't know, maybe I ran everybody else off yesterday. It's down to Vic and I. That's it. That's the only ones who are playing guitar anymore. Everybody else decided it's too hard. Vic, remind me. I believe, unless I'm mistaken, we played Wonderful World, Imagine, Greensleeves, and Christmas is yesterday, I think. So we were going to start on. We're going to do Silent Night and Three Blind Mice today, I believe. That's what we decided yesterday. And so let me know if that's sort of your understanding. Let's see. Let me go to my library here. Correct. All right. See? I remember nothing on a day-to-day basis, but I remembered what we were going to do in guitar today. So I feel pretty excited about that. So let's see. Three Blind Mice, and I think Silent Night ended up over here somewhere. Silent Night on guitar. That's where it is. Move to guitar. All right. Let's see. Evelyn made it in. Sound is good, she says. Elizabeth is here. You guys are lingering, coming in exactly at the last moment. You know I never get started till 9:05 anyway. So here we are. Good morning to you all. I'm standing up, continuing to stand up. My back is possibly worse today than it was yesterday. I did take some leave a little bit ago. We're waiting for that to kick in. And we'll see how today goes. I want to go ahead and start with Three Blind Mice. We finished up last night in the local Zoom class. We finished up with those guys. And so they finished level 1. I don't know if any of them will be coming around or just double checking the archive today or whatever. But I do want to play Three Blind Mice. in all of the ways, just in case they happen to pop on by and take a look. And I know you guys that are logging in regularly, this is not something you need to be playing, but there are some things about that I think are fascinating, and most importantly, that weird G chord that we have to do. So let's start with Three Blind Mice. Let's grab our G chords, and then let's see how that plays out in 3 different ways of holding your G chord. So remember, with G chord, the standard issue G chord is index finger on 5, middle finger up on the 6th string, and ring finger down here on the 1st string. Kind of an unpleasant arrangement when you first start playing, and you get this chord sound. I should probably double check that I'm in tune. Something sounds off. I'm going to get these strings changed this weekend, God willing, and the crick don't rise. A little high. Feels kind of humid today. I think that's why the guitar is tightening up just a little bit. All right. Hopefully that's a little better. Good morning, Pauline. So in any event, G chord. This is the garden variety, right? Okay. Then, of course, to make things fancier, a lot of people will put their ring finger on the 2nd string and then add their pinky onto the 1st string. Get a little more action, a little more brightness out of those lower strings that way. It sort of counterbalance some of the depth and darkness of these strings. So probably knowing both and having some skills where you can get to both is important. I'm playing along, blah, 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 and then maybe I want a regular G chord, blah, blah, blah. You feel just a tiny bit lower sound to it. And I think overall, knowing both of those, I use those both when I'm playing. I definitely use, oh goodness. I hate text messaging because here's what happens with text messaging. You go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Man, at the end of the time, eventually you just get fatigued by it and you just give up, right? Or you can pick up the phone, 5 minutes, and you've got everybody's on the same page. G chord. So you have these ones, and you have these ones, or with your ring. The other one that is taught a lot, I don't particularly like it because I find it much more fraught with peril, but I know why we learn this one. Middle, ring, and pinky. Okay. Now the problem with this is you can no longer hit that 2nd string. You're out of fingers. But it provides this finger an opportunity to play some melody, and that's what we are going to have to do in Three Blind Mice. The other nice thing about this shape is it leaves it pretty easy to get to a C chord from there. Index down, these 2 fingers drop, and you get a C chord. Okay. And then the last thing, you can drop these two more, flatten this finger out, and now you have an F chord. Pick it up and pull them back. C chord, and then pop it up, add your pinky, you add your G chord, and then of course if you're playing those 3 chords, you are in the key of C, so you end on C. So you'll see a lot of professional singers using that particular chord shapes because there's very little motion, very little chance of you getting it wrong once you get comfy with it, and then you will ultimately be able to sing and not put a lot of energy into your noggin going into where your fingers are. You just get comfy with that, and then of course you capo up wherever you need to if you're a singer, and that's that. Elizabeth is recommending me some drugs. Let's see, get a prescription. Tizidine, generic, Xanaflex. Okay, take a quarter pill. I may have to do that. Also, a friend of ours is a acupuncturist over here, so I may have to go have him stick some needles in my back. I think it's just a muscle spasm. I don't think it's anything serious, but it's annoying. All right, so that's the chord. Let's go through and double check. Most of you guys have been around a while, right? And so you know how to play, probably, theoretically, I'm assuming. But let's take that crazy G shape, And instead of strumming, okay, let's do one of two things. Either 1, 2, 3, 4 with your right hand, continuing to build on your claw. If it's a G chord, you've got a G string now by holding the E down. You can put your thumb on that, and you get that big G bass in there, which always sounds nice. And then these three, you can put them on any of the strings you want, maybe the lowest three. And that gives you a complete look at what G chord sounds like. And then, of course, if you've been around even longer, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. Right? See what I'm doing there? 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. All I'm making sure is that I've got some multiple of 4, since we're in the 4/4 timing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't go down and come back, because then you're in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and you'll run, and it won't work. So you'll end up with the wrong things happening at the wrong time. So just make sure you can either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and some multiple of 4. You can even try 12s if you're really wanting to make the song exciting. All right, from the top, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the first half with my plucks, and the second half with. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, ready, play. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. They all went after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as 3 blind mice? I added an extra couple of beats there on the measure 11 for no reason whatsoever. 3 blind mice. Do something fancy at the end. So that's the claw picking and arpeggio picking. Okay. There's other names people use for those particular types of patterns, but you don't need. But I think keeping it simple. If you're doing multiple fingers, it's arpeggios of some sort. If you're doing them in any kind of a pattern, then we think of those as arpeggios. And if you're doing it as a clomp and just claw picking, there is an official claw hammer strum that they use on banjo quite a bit. I don't teach it because it's really specific to a very specific style of play and music, but it's kind of fun to, if you ever want a chance to go in and look at it. You actually hammer down. That's the hammer part, and then claw it back up. It's I only studied it as a problem and not necessarily as a musical piece. So and I don't know necessarily if it's all that set up for guitar anyway. We have too much resonance to really make that sound well. Good morning, Arlo. All right, so you got 3 blind mice with the different shapes of G over here. And remember that we didn't cover this G, but you also have, you know how you have your E chord here. Okay, use the wrong fingers, middle, ring, and pinky, make an E chord. And then if you slide it up 1 and add a bar, it becomes an F. And then if you slide it up 2 more to 3, bar on 3, E shape in front, now you have another G. So that's the other G that's readily available to us as guitar players. And honestly, the reason I thought that Arlo walks in, Arlo's an advanced guitar player. He knows what he's doing. And almost all the time I see him grabbing his G chord here. And I'm like, that seems harder. But, it's not really when you see all of the friends that are hanging around with G. And you with this shape, because now you can do just F and G quite conveniently. And then all you have to do is worry about when C shows up. But basically, you can play the same song and it's a little bit higher pitch. 3 blind mice, 3 blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. So you can get another voicing onto the same thing. So a lot of G chords hanging around. That tells you, oh, key of G is probably going to work out pretty good for guitar most of the time when there's so many convenient G's hanging around all in the same spot. Let's play the melody, nice and steady. 1, 2, ready, play. Also, if you are thinking classical guitar, if that's in your future and you're like, yep, I want to start studying that, rather than playing thumb on melody, you will want to be working on index and middle. And I'm pretty bad at it because I don't work at it all that much, but it is something you want to be thinking about is index, middle, index, and ultimately, of course, you add in ring, index, and middle. But for the initial exercise, let's use, we'll use index first and then middle afterwards, and we'll just keep alternating between the notes. Every note gets a different finger over here. Then you got to make sure it's on the right string and the right fret up here. Okay, so try that just with these two fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I make lots of mistakes. I start doing alternate fingers over here too. I don't work on that a lot, but if you are thinking about classical guitar as something that you want to do down the road, or you're doing now, getting control of that I am. Almost every guitar lesson you wander into on YouTube, they're talking about some amount of that. As part of what they do. And so just know that I get it. I understand that you're supposed to do that. I just find my thumb to be far more pleasant, and in fingerstyle thumb is actually going to do just fine. And also Wes Montgomery never played with anything except just thumb, and he did okay on guitar. So I have a role model in Wes. Ellen says there's also prescription Harmonica gel, which chiropractors and other. Oh, I might check that out too, Evelyn. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are giving me lots of good advice on how to be in less pain. All right, finally, tough axe. The reason I like to talk about these G shapes here is this song you really do have to use on the tough axe. You really do have to plant these two fingers, and we're going to be rotating this around. Okay, so on the tough axe, again, if you're level 1, don't do tough axe. It's too hard. Level 2, let's do level 2. Let's be above. You're thinking tough axe, okay, and you're thinking planting, middle, and ring here, and then let's go through it. You're going to use this index finger to play a bunch of melody notes, and your pinky is going to be playing some decorative notes and some melody notes. Okay, so from the top, 1, 2, ready, play. Okay. It's a good exercise for doing everything you can to make sure that these two stay planted. A lot of times in fingerstyle, we have to pull up our chord to go do something else. But in this case, just leaving this planted where it doesn't go anywhere at all the entire time you're playing allows these two strings to ring continuously through the entire piece and creates just this nice, really well-rounded sound to the piece of music. Makes it sound quite a bit more impressive than just plain old Three Blind Mice. It's also a song that then now you can slow it down because you're bringing all of the pieces and parts together, and hopefully it sounds really nice. Let's see, more discussion over here. Arlo says, take care of your back, recommended physical therapy. Massage therapy, stretching helps a lot. Rollering. Oh yeah, look, man, you guys are you're all. Isn't it fascinating? The probably the worst instrument you could pick for your bag is this one. Like, let's see. I'm going to pick an instrument. I've had a lot of back issues in my life. Let's see. What should I try to play? I know. Let's play the one that's the hardest to hold on to. The one that causes the most stress in terms of positioning and play. And so you guys, yeah. It's not that bad, guys. It's really, it's probably just a muscle spasm. It'll go away in a day or two. If it doesn't, I absolutely will start looking into your suggestions. So thank you. All right. So there's Three Blind Mice. Again, I think sometimes we're always rushing ahead to play level 4 and play these advanced songs and play some really fun and beautiful pieces. But it doesn't hurt to revisit these. It doesn't hurt at all to revisit some of these very basic ideas so that we can make sure you're playing the very smartest way that you know how. Let's go grab Silent Night. We didn't get to this yesterday. And as I talk about a lot, this time of year, it doesn't matter whether you like Christmas music or not. If you're a guitarist, you're probably going to be playing some of it. So it's not a bad idea to have a book of pieces you've gone through that you know that you can play. That, like with my Christmas book, it's this one red binder, and it sits on the shelf for for me, about 9 months a year. And then in late September, early October, I pull it out and start going through all of the sheets again, figuring out what I can do to update my sheet music for you guys, and then figure out what went well, what didn't go well, what songs I like, which songs that I thought I was going to work on and didn't get to, and that sort of thing. And it's over the years, it's turned into this fairly significant, pretty cool book of Christmas music. And again, we only play it during this time of year. It sounds amazing on guitar. It's part of our, I don't know, people love guitar music at Christmas time. So you want to go ahead and get a binder started just for your Christmas music. Sorry guys, ouch. I didn't get my coffee drink properly this morning, and now I'm standing up. Usually I sneak it in as I'm sitting around. Let's get the chords in order. Make sure we're fine on that. Look at here, G chord shows up again. One of the things you might consider is using this double finger ring and pinky with your G chord. It's a little more dulcimer like, a little more musical feeling to it. And even on a classical guitar with nylon strings, that's going to help punch up the overall sound quite a bit. Okay. Then you're going to go to your D7. Now on D7, you're really only supposed to play 4 strings, right? But I often will go ahead and add in the A string. Just gives it a little bit more color. Not the right root note, but it does sound nice a lot of times. Back to your G chord. Okay, and then your only other chord in this is a C chord. And C chord, oddly enough, I almost hardly ever hit the 6th string. I don't think that sound adds anything to anything. But so I try to on C chords to stick with the 5th string down. I think it sounds prettier. I'm about to sing, so nothing good's going to come from that. Walk through this with me quarterly. If you are working on having actually, let's do it as well. We'll sing it through once, just strumming or plucking. And then the second time through, we do have a 6 pattern here. So it's Silent Night. And that's going to sound amazing, especially if you can sing, right? It's not going to sound amazing when I sing it, but it's worth trying. Is the 6 pattern: thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. That's your 6 pattern, and then just don't rush it. Okay, so let's play through it any way you want to the first time. Second time, give some arpeggio plucking a try. 1, 2. Silent night, holy night, all is calm. You can way out of my range. All is bright round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. To the arpeggios. Silent night, holy. I'm going too fast. Let me go back. Sorry, from the top. 1, 2. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. So then you get, so that sounds a lot more sophisticated, right? It took me a little bit to get my right hand going properly, but if you can sing, that's probably the way you want to do a ton of songs, right? Just putting in that little arpeggio pattern under that. Dolly Parton, who's gotten pretty famous here the last couple of days because she paid for one of the vaccines. She always does that, right? She has her guitar tuned differently than we tune it, so she can play it with these big old long fingernails. It's just a single bar chord. But on her right hand, just doing crazy arpeggios all the time. And she knows a little bit about playing guitar and a little bit about singing. And so we take her as a model of, hey, if that's gonna work, right? And so it's something worth doing. Vic says that I'm getting a bit better at arpeggio picking. Arpeggio picking takes practice, right? That's why you show up here. Is getting comfy with 1, 2, 3, 1. So on 3 Blind Mice, we were in a 4 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But on this song, we're in a 6 pattern. And so you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and don't go as fast as I was going. If I'm starting arpeggio picking, I'm like trying to get better at it. I'm going to go silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. That's how slow I'm going to play it when I'm first starting. If I have to go even slower, I will. When also with arpeggios, when you're first starting, just pick 4 strings and hang on to them tight. Usually the lower 4 strings on your guitar, just play those 4. The other one that usually works is just the middle 4 strings, thumb, index, middle, and don't change your strings. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just do that forever until that pattern just gets ingrained into them and that they know, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. Then long term, you're going to be wanting to adjust depending on what chord you're on, which strings you use. So on D, we usually use the bottom 4. On A, we use the middle. On G or E minor or E major, we'll use these upper strings so we can get the root note correctly, right? And so, and then of course, and then even more fancy, you will divide up, keep these 3 on the bottom 3, which is what classical guitar players have a tendency to do. Keep much more focus on these bottom 3 strings with these fingers because they've taught them to do everything, and then use your thumb as either descending bass lines and all, and root noting and all this stuff is what your thumb is pretty useful for on those 3 strings. So that essentially splits your guitar into low notes and high notes. You end up with 2 instruments in one, and useful for, I think, just generally useful in terms of thinking about, I'm going to play melody up here, I'm going to play root noting or chording or counter melodies up here. And then you really have taken the piano and split it into 2 pieces like we do. Melody more over here, chords more over here, fancy sort of decorative stuff here. The story is going on over here. And once we've divided the guitar into 2 halves like that, then we really are at that very high level where you can start seeing, with the Chet Atkins things where he's got this stuff going on down here and a completely different song going on in his thumb. And so that's something to be working on. Let's see. Do you always pick up and then back down? Do you always pick up and then back down? Not always. There's not, especially with arpeggio picking, I would say don't think about always. Think about, I'm going to try it this way, and then I'm going to try it that way, and I'm going to try it another way. So I might, what you're asking is, hey, could I do Silent Night, Holy Night? Maybe, right? Maybe. Could I do the other one I love to do is outsides and insides. So you would do Silent Night, Holy Night. So that's outsides and insides, right? So the outer, your ring and thumb, and then your middle and index finger. Okay. The other ones is odds and evens. That's a fun one to try. I'm going to do thumb and middle, followed by index and ring. And if I do it on, let's do it on these 3 strings. Let's see if I can do it. Doing it live. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. It's going to go terrible. I'll use the middle strings from the top, or not from the top. Just practice with the G chord. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, right? So just messing around with, when we say always with arpeggios, there's really not an always. One of the things I notice is when I'll be working on it in a certain pattern, and then my friend Kari will come over and she's doing a completely different pattern. I'm like, oh, cool, what are you doing? And it takes me forever to figure out what she's doing. And then I start doing it. Oh, you're doing a Travis picking style. So we'll do that for a while. And then I want to go back to my original pattern I was working on. I can't do it. My hands are stuck doing that pattern. So you have to be like, all right, I'm going to straighten this out. So I think the more creative and the more adventuresome you can be with arpeggio picking, the more options you'll give yourself and the more fun you will have. Some songs will sound better doing one style than another. So that's what I would say is, give that some try. If you get real good at doing it this way, thumb, index, middle, ring, then try it ring, middle, index, thumb. And if you get good at that, try outsides and insides. And if you try to get good at that, try odds and evens. Or evens and odds. Okay. try thumb, try, mix them up. 1, 2. Okay, so all those, it's fun to try different things. When you're just sitting around with your chords and you're humming the melody to yourself, it'll sound nice. Nancy says the alternating bass note sounds nice too. Yeah, so I think what Nancy's mentioning here is if you are silent night, holy night. And then what's the next chord? I think it's a D7. Oh. I should probably have the sheet music in front of me. All is well. All is bright. By just picking the boom, 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 boom. As long as you're holding the chord, you can get away with hitting really any of the bass notes. Not D, you couldn't hit the E note. That'll sound terrible. But using your thumb first on one low string and then alternating it to the other low string. That's how we get started with bass picking. Is all right. I'm going to play the D chord. I'm going to play D, strum, and then A, strum, D, strum, A, strum. Then you go to the G chord, G, strum, other string. You go all the way down on that one. That's how that's where cowboys come from, is learning to do those alternating bass lines. And then eventually, of course, you get where you were then doing walking basses, where you would end up with be doing that kind of stuff. I don't teach much of that because I don't quite understand it, and I don't know when it's appropriate and not, so I don't do much of that myself, but it's definitely one of those tools that a lot of guitarists use to make themselves sound nicer. All right, we spent a lot of time on covering the chord issue. It's 9:37. Let's play the melody. This is something that sounds really awesome. If your guitar is tuned properly and you are playing well and you can get every note clean and perfect, your guitar is going to help you out on this song. It's going to be like, okay, I'm going to resonate in the proper thing, just playing the melody. So see how perfect and beautiful you can get each note. Let them ring as long as they can before you pull up a string. Don't pull it up if you don't have to, okay? And let's see how we do. 1, 2. That's not the right way to begin. Let's start again. 1, 2. All right. I want to do it again because I messed it up from the top. Ready, play. Second time through, you want to hit the high three and the high G instead of the middle G there at 0. The song is designed to be played 3 times through. Let's play it 2 times through, and that'll be plenty. Okay. Tough uke, or well, let's talk about it real quick. Tough axe. Arlo says, I usually let my thumb do the 2 top strings and fingers do the bottom 4. Yeah, I think Arlo's idea there is very classical in nature. We're going to let these fingers run these bottom 4 strings, and that's not really classical. That's probably the wrong way to think about it. It's much more country feeling. These thumb runs these 2 strings as if they're their own instrument, and then these strings down here will be run by these other 4 where you run. I think in classical, it's obviously we're super generalizing, but I think classical we tend to think of these 3 strings as their own instrument because they're metal on the classical guitar, and these 3 is their own instrument because they're plastic. So it's interesting how which type of guitar you have might affect your overall approach to it. But I love that idea, Arlo. Okay, let's walk through the tough axe really quick, and then we'll be done for the day. So G chord with your ring finger there, and then open 3, and then lose your ring finger. And I tell people when I put in decorative notes, right? Silent night, bong, bong. What my newer students have a tendency to do is they're like, oh, those are just extra notes. I don't need to focus on them. I got to get ready to get to the next big thing. Don't underestimate the importance of these decorative notes. That's what's going to separate. When I get to a decorative note, I tend to play them a tiny bit louder, a little bit more meaningfully, because I want people to know, yeah, these are not just strings I'm accidentally hitting. I'm trying to decorate the melody. So in this case, don't not play them aggressively. They're not going to get in the way of the melody. My arrangements will never allow that to happen. They're always going to be lower than the melody note, and they just give you this a little bit decoration in the music. And people who listen to it will know what you're up to. Unless you play them weak and mealy mouthed, then they will be like, "What is that weird sound that they're doing?" Okay, so let's go to measure 2. Go. Up to your high D7, 575, and then the low D7, full G chord, high G D7, pinky on 8, full G. I just go for a D chord there, and then go to the 1, 2. And you can do whatever you want with those little runs at the end. On modern music, right, we always have some sort of cool turnaround there, put in a probably have it wrap up with a D7 and go back. But on a classic song like this, you just do what is sort of traditional, which is to wrap up with that G chord, go back and start the whole song a second time through. All right, let's play it 2 times through, and we'll call it a day. From the top, any way you want to play. 1, 2. Oh, it's in 6. 1, 2. Ah. Pretty nice little tune, right? Sounds nice on a guitar. Hopefully, you're playing that well. Um, um, Fascinating. I blew the last measure each time through, so I'm playing like Gary always plays. Either the next to last measure or the last measure. That's where I give up. I'm a not a 4/4 kind of guy. I'm a 3 3/4 quarter kind of guy. I think that's what I know about guitar today. Tomorrow, let's go. Let me come up here and double check. The problem with standing up is now my face gets really, really close. Tomorrow, we'll just go down the list. Christmas is, Green Sleeves, Imagine, and Wonderful World. Remember, Thursday night, we usually get together as a crowd. And tonight, we can't because I have my condo association final budget meeting and possible assessment. And it's going to be nothing but a throw-pack ride for me this evening. And so I will be missing you guys. Sit down and play Wonderful World. And Imagine in my honor tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Just sit down and play those two songs. Send me good vibes through the universe that I don't want to. We're doing it over Zoom, so I'm going to end up having to stab my computer here with a butcher knife. Shush. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow for our big concert. Well, it's not really a big concert. Tomorrow we wrap up, finishing up. Tomorrow is the last day for Three Blind Mice, and then it's just Christmas music till the end of the year, guys. I will be over the weekend giving, freshening up most of the sheet music that's on the sheet music page. But there's already plenty of Christmas music there. I haven't been changing very much in that because, frankly, I did a pretty good job the first time through arranging it. But I'll clean it up. I've been doing some more updating on all that sheet music to make it cleaner and prettier and better. So feel free to grab a couple of those sheets, but know that we're going to be doing a whole bunch more. And thank you all for being here. It's very fun. Had a nice size class today, which is exciting. Nancy says she sounded beautiful. That's exciting. Wonderful. Vic, you're welcome. Evelyn, good to see you. See you later today. And Pauline as well. Silent Night gets there. You could play Silent Night. Here's what's good. The good news. Silent Night is never going to suck. It's no matter what changes in society we go through, that song's good. Right? So you can play it every single day until Christmas time, and it'll get better and better and better. And then you put it on the shelf for 10 months, and then you start again next year. So it's always going to be a good song. Definitely worth putting some time in. All right, guys. That's enough. I'll see you guys. I'm going to go feel sorry for myself for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go play some baritone ukulele. So I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Great way to end, right? Put you in this right frame of mind. All right, kids. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.